Hi, and welcome to the Good Goobyes Funeral Myth-Busting podcast. On the show, you will hear us, your hosts, Simon, a funeral director, and Tina, an independent celebrant, chat about all things funerals, death, and dying to help you navigate the planning of your good goodbye for yourself or the people in your lives.
Sometimes we have funeral industry guests, and sometimes we just chat through funerals, death, and dying. We do this with kindness and sometimes humour. We're based in Devon in the UK, and we hope you enjoy the show ahead. Hello, listeners. This is Tina from Good Goobyes, and I have a guest with me today, Colin Boston. And in a moment, Colin is going to tell you all about our song request, which is what he's here to talk about. But Colin, a very, very warm welcome. It's lovely to have you here today.
Good morning. How are you doing? You okay?
I'm really well. We were just saying, Colin and I, before we started recording, that actually at the moment it's really sunny in both the places that we are. I'm in Dawlish, in a seaside town in the UK, and Colin is in Southport, I think you said.
Yeah, seaside Southport, and yeah, we've got a bit of sun, so happy days.
Yeah, so imagine that, listeners, wherever you are, whatever the weather, as you're walking along, just imagine that today, when we recorded this, Colin and I were enjoying a bit of sunshine. So, Colin, take us back to the beginning. What first sparked the idea for our song request? How did it come about?
So, the actual original business that we had, we did personalised performances with bands and artists, mainly signed bands, the likes of Scouting for Girls, Top Loader, and then kind of musicians from bands like drummers and guitarists and vocalists. And what the business actually was fans would be able to record a personalised performance of their favourite song. So what the artist would do they'd get a message through saying this song is for, X, it's for an anniversary, a wedding, whatever it is. Can you play her favorite song? And they would do that through us, which was amazing, and it was such a great experience, and the fans absolutely loved it. The ones that we worked with. And then we started getting requests for personalised songs. Now, the bands and the artists, when they're writing music, they're writing for themselves and they release it for themselves. So they weren't obviously going to be writing music for other people. And then it just kind of stuck with me because we were getting so many people asking about it. So I actually asked a couple of independent artists to write and record a personalised song with a couple of requests, which we got. And they were so incredible and fast and professional that I decided to get one for my granddad, who'd passed away, to give to my mum as a little bit of a test. And it just completely blew us all away. It was absolutely beautiful. And literally from that moment that I got it back, and from when I spoke to my mum about it, because she just couldn't believe, how have you done this? Where have you got it from? And it was just an artist from Nashville who'd done this for us. It just kind of struck a chord with me and kind of did something. And I thought this is what we've got to do for as many people as possible. So is that when you realize that all those memories and all that kind of feeling that you had as a family could be captured in a piece of music? Was that your sort of moment that happened for you? Exactly that. So my granddad had passed away he'd been gone for about 10 years. And because when I was giving the brief to the artist, I was putting the story. So he had wrote a book. He'd been in World War II. He was an orphan, and he came from absolutely nothing to going through the war. Built his own business, and he's like a hero of mine. I've got him actually tattooed to the side of me, and because he means so much to me. And
I think we need to name him, Colin, and give him a bit of a nod.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it's David Pike.
So, there you are. Thank you.
Yeah, David Pike. Yeah, he's a hero. And just so even for me, just getting all those stories and the information and all the great things that he did, and even just coming to visit us, that kind of thing, getting that down was really nice for me. And then having it produced into like a catchy, like really just absolutely lovely song. It just kind of came full circle, and it was from then I was just like, I need to do this for as many people as possible. So we went from capturing all these beautiful information to turn it into this song. I kind of just said to the artists and the bands that we had, look, thank you so much for being with us, but we're kind of going to pivot and turn OSR into a new direction for personalized songs. And then we focused on bereavement, on celebration of life, funerals, for the services, for post service, for the anniversaries of death, that kind of thing. And yeah, not really looked back after that, really. So that's, yeah, we've done a big pivot, and it's been very rewarding, to say the least.
Yeah, and I can imagine how rewarding it is to sort of support people through kind of finding a voice, but a voice through music, obviously, for their person. Because I think a lot of families, when I work with families as a celebrant, they've got so much to say. They're just trying to find a good way to say it,
Yeah. I think, it's music does something as well. It does something different. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But for instance, if you're at a funeral service and you hear a eulogy, which is lovely because you hear, everything about the person. But I've been to services where they've used our personal songs, and I take a look around, and the different facial expressions you get when it's through music and through a beautiful song, it's just different. And also, what you can do, you can re-listen to it. So not many people are gonna re-listen to a eulogy, maybe, on the way to or on the bus or anything like that. However, when you've got a song that you like the sound of, and you can sing along, it's different, and it's kind of the same message.
Yeah.
So yeah, music's just really, really special. And
It is. I mean, I was only talking to somebody the other day because when I'm not being a celebrant, I'm being a nurse, and we were talking about dementia, and we were talking about how memory works for people with dementia, and how kind of almost random it is. And anyone listening to this who has anyone in living with dementia in their family or has been through this experience will know that it is such a random thing. But one of the most consistent ways of reaching somebody living with dementia is to play music. And I've worked with people who have hardly any language, cannot express themselves. People would say I don't like the term, but they're mute, they're not speaking at all, they're not expressing themselves. And you put music on and they will sing the lyrics.
yeah,
They absolutely will come alive. It must be in a place in our brain that's quite deeply kind of like deep down in our library of memories, and really accessible. So I think you're right. Music has such a special place in our lives.
Well, funnily enough, I mean, I'm gobsmacked you mentioned that, because my dad has vascular dementia, and I came across this exact situation. So when I'd go and visit him, it was, it's a terrible disease, and it was so sad seeing him. And what I did was, I was there with my son, and I put some music on for him, and it was his favorite band, the Kinks. Now, as I walked before I even put any music on, he called me Joey, which is my son's name. So this is how kind of far he was in the, living with dementia. And when the music started, I could see him, he was tapping his feet, and he started nodding his head just a little bit. So I started asking him some questions, and he was answering them as if it was yesterday. So from not knowing my first name, he was telling me about the gigs he went to see the Kinks in the 1960s. He told me the name of the drummer. He told me where he lived. And it was like, what is going on? Because I had no idea whatsoever the connection between music and dementia. And I actually put because it blew me away so much. I put the video on LinkedIn, and it went viral, and it's had hundreds of thousands of impressions, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting all these comments from nurses, from people saying, this is a real thing, and music makes such a difference to people with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
So I want to do as much as I can as well in this field as well, just to get.
No, it's quite wonderful. And so you can imagine kind of, sometimes actually it's an interesting, almost like a meeting of two worlds, Colin, because I've done a few funerals in my lifetime as a celebrant for people whose partners have are living with dementia. So the person who's died didn't have dementia, but the person who survived is living with dementia. And we've had lots of debates about, should we get them to the funeral? How would that work? How would they manage, understanding what's going on the day? How can they contribute to, being the eulogy or the equivalent of a story of their person, because they can't really tell it as well as most of us can. And so actually I can see a space where that could be a beautiful space for music, for what you're doing.
Yeah. So I actually spoke to, because I speak to grief coaches and counselors, and a lady I spoke to last week, funnily enough, she said there's a part of the brain that it's something to do with music. It never leaves, or it's like a different kind of chemical. Which, so when it comes to remembering things, um if you put stories or details into song form
Yeah.
and put that into the brain, it doesn't leave. It always, and then it made me think, maybe this is why, do you know, when you're at school and, teachers try and teach you things and we turn it into a song or a rhyme, and because there's those old like sayings and that kind of thing. Maybe that's that part of the brain, and it kind of proves that point. So yeah, it's unbelievable, and I'm learning this like every single day.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember, but Colin, you're taking me back now, Colin, to my early nursing days when I had to learn all this stuff. But I know that some of music is stored in the limbic system, and the limbic system in the brain is the deeply emotional place. So that's where sometimes we're just going about our business, a piece of music comes on, and we just get this emotional response. We think, oh God, that reminds me of my mum, or that reminds me of that day when we just laughed. And you get this response that mimics the response you had at the time that you were there and listening to the music. So for your dad, that lovely example of the Kinks, I'm sure that took him right back to those heydays of like how much he enjoyed those gigs and everything. So who wouldn't want to give somebody that experience? It's just a magical thing, really.
Exactly. And kind of building on that. So what it did as well, what I noticed was it completely changed his mood. So he was just kind of in a daze, just staring into space, not really communicating whatsoever. But it goes from that to happy and excited, and then remembering other things. So it's not just about the music or the band members or that gig. All of a sudden it kind of sparks things, and things all start to fall into place a little bit more. So I mean, there's some great charities out there like Music for My Mind, who they do we do playlists for like care homes, where you can create your own playlist from, say, the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it is. And they're trying to get as many people just to kind of understand it and just make it available for anyone, because it's just learning and getting the message out there, which everyone's trying to do who see themselves and understand it. And it's fabulous.
So if someone finds their way to you and they want a song for a funeral or a celebration of life or a remembrance, what's the kind of process? What happens for them?
So we just go onto our website, and what we can do is we have a selection of artists on our roster, and on each of a profile, you can play a little sample of one of their previous songs. So you get a feeling for the genre, the voice, the kind of the tone of the song. And the one you'd like, you'd just click their profile, and then it simply takes you to just a field where you basically tell the story of whatever you want. So you can kind of brain dump everything you know about someone and you've loved about someone, all the great things. And what we do is we turn that into a list for the artist. The artist goes away, turns that into lyrics, creates the music from scratch, creates the song from scratch, records it. It takes up to 5 business days, because these are professional personalized songwriters. This is all we do, and we gig it for weekends, weddings, that kind of thing. And then so what's really important as well is the revision part of this, because because you're kind of not exactly sure how it's going to sound and how it's going to come back, we allow for several revisions. So once the song's been written, recorded, and sent over to the guest, they will get the chance to say, this is great. Could we change this? Could we add this person's name? Could we take this person? Sometimes you get family politics and they've got, oh dear, like we didn't want, this sister-in-law's name in there because of so forth, or there may be a pronunciation mistake here and there. What the artists do within 24 hours, they re-record it, and again, they send it through again, and we keep doing this until the guest is 100% happy. And what we get is we get a personalized song page where, so through the journey, what we can do, we upload a photo of the loved one or whoever it is, and the song comes on like an MP3 page, which you can stream, download, share. And it's there to be shared for everyone. And
so it's almost a real sort of partnership between the songwriter and the family, and there's a bit of back and forth where they can kind of, just shape it a little bit in the way they want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We never deliver something that the family aren't over the moon with.
Yeah.
Because what's the point in that? You need to absolutely love it, because what's great for us is when these songs are loved, they're shared, and on the song page we can see at our end how many times the song gets played. And we've had songs. We did one last year for a funeral service, and it's been played over 1,000 times in
lovely.
9 different countries. So what we can see from that is they love it so much for sharing it to friends, family, and it's good for our artists because we're showing their talent. And
you're artists and songwriters, so you use established people, don't you? Why was that important to you?
So, well, not specifically. So originally, when we had the signed bands and artists, like I said, so we kind of left them and moved on to professional independent songwriters.
Yeah.
Which took a lot of research and a lot of testing and a lot of basically ordering songs for ourselves, and we were giving them to friends and family just to see that they could do exactly what we said. So we have some guidelines where, these need to be delivered within 5 business days. The funeral service is going to be happening within like a fortnight. We need to make sure everything is ready. It's uploaded to the system, like Obitus or Wesley, and everyone's happy and ready. So speed is really important, and the quality. So we need to make sure that the studio that they've got is absolutely perfect. There's no mistakes, there's no crackling. Everything sounds like a studio quality song. So that took a lot of research and trial and error. And we've got a nice roster where it's not overwhelming for families, because we actually started with around 50 artists. What some of the feedback was the kind of, there's too much to choose from.
It's a bit like going in a shop with a big pick and mix of sweets. It's a bit of an overwhelm, isn't it?
It can be. And if you've lost someone, or you're going to be losing someone soon, emotions are all over the shop. You kind of want things to be as easy and as quick as possible. So we did rubber face people with all these different artists with previews. So we've picked our favorite, 2 of the most, just incredibly talented artists who always deliver. And it's been great. So we've got a great relationship with them guys. And we're just very lucky that we kind of play a part in essentially being the middleman of like a kind of a music manager, just getting the music to the people who want it and make sure they're happy with it. It's just,
I mean, just now Colin and I have mentioned Obitus and Wesley, and just for our listeners, it's kind of, those are the 2 music systems that most crematoriums and funeral establishments and ceremony spaces use. So what that means is that you can upload them to their equivalent of Spotify, is usually what I say to families. So that's what we're talking about here. But I guess also, if I want that my ceremony is in my back garden or the village hall or the local rugby club, that downloadable version, I can play there, can't I? So I've got access to it all.
Absolutely. You can download it, save it to your phone, save it to your laptop. You can
Brilliant.
stream it live. So we make every single possible eventuality because we know everyone's not as tech savvy as people in this day and age. So we make sure that you will hear it one way or another. We will make sure you get to hear it.
And have you ever worked with somebody who's requesting a song for themselves and they haven't died yet as they're planning?
Oh, good question. Do you know what? I don't think we have. No.
Yeah.
We have.
Because it's interesting. I think probably because the general world of talking about death and dying is we're all collectively reaching a place of more comfort about that. I have certainly added that to my services, the things that I offer as a celebrant, and clarified for people that I am really happy to come and meet with you if you know you're dying sooner than you wished and you want to discuss it. And do a bit of planning. So you're someone I would add to my list of kind of options for my clients, because I've done it about 3 times now. And it has been an incredible privilege.
Yeah,
but also when you work with someone who knows they're dying soon, you can see that the agency power and the relief it gives them to be able to talk to this about somebody who doesn't mind what they say, who hasn't got any awkwardness, which quite understandably family members might have, really.
Yeah, exactly, because some might be a little bit worried about that. We all don't want to upset our relatives, but I'm as guilty as the next person when I never want, like, my wife or my mum I don't want to worry them. But I guess when you're there yourself, it's kind of like a clean slate where we can say everything we want, we can request anything, and that's a fantastic idea. Actually, I never.
Well, it's always good, isn't it, to kind of like reach into new ways of doing things. Have you had anything surprising, Colin, as you've been doing this work, or anything that stood out particularly for you?
Surprising. Not particular. I mean, the whole industry has kind of surprised me in a sense of just how fulfilling it is, and I kind of, as much fun as I've had at the start of, so 2019 was when we started our song request. I kind of wish I started this sooner because of how it, on a selfish note, how it makes me feel, because it's just so nice. But as part of the surprising, not that's a very good question. I suppose there's been several songs that we've done for people where I have been surprised at the reaction of how kind of far and wide it's gone. So I never realized how many people maybe have relatives abroad, and how much these songs get shared abroad, and that's kind of the beauty of digital music. So something that I absolutely love is just to see how well the songs are being received. Is, like I mentioned before, is we can see how many times he played and where and what areas we get played, and the map's just pinging all over the world, and it's just that still surprises me. And but a really nice surprise, because it's just every single area on the planet, or every single play that goes up, it's just someone's going to be listening to a song about their loved one, and just fondly remembering them, and celebrating the life, and it's just it's amazing.
And the other kind of way that I was thinking this could be really beautiful for people when I first came across it is that not all families get on, and not all arrangements for funerals are easy. And you do come across these strange families, and there'll be listeners listening thinking, oh yeah, I recognize this, we just don't talk to cousin Joe because he ran off with me neighbour's wife or whatever. But there'll be there are reasons, and funerals and weddings are the two places where it all comes together, and it can get a bit tense. So if you have felt left out of something, if you are somebody who's listening to this or knows somebody who like didn't get to go to a funeral, maybe it was a direct cremation and you didn't get to be part of it, or maybe there was a fallout in the family and you just didn't go for some reason, you could have a song designed for you that captures your person in the way
Right.
that you knew them, in the way that
Ab-
you knew them.
Absolutely.
So that could be another way it might work for people, mightn't it?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's a great healing power. I mean, the amount of grief coaches I've spoken to as well who have explained to me, because like I mentioned, I'm learning every day on this, is what it can do to help people heal. But you know, the ones you don't even maybe expect, maybe not even the absolute immediate family, but there's going to be nephews, uncles, aunties who will, you know, be struggling, and these are the kind of things where we can tailor a song to their experiences and their memories personally, just for themselves, and that can help, which is great.
Yeah, and we did an episode, and I'm trying to think what number it was so I can let people know. But we did an episode which is all about losing a friend, with a celebrant called Justin, who lost such like her best friend, a really incredibly good friend, a long time ago. And when you're in the friendship category, you're not a relative, you don't have certain permissions,
Yeah,
but
you're a few rows
those,
behind.
yeah, those relationships can be incredibly powerful in our lives, and the loss of a dear friend can be a big thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It can be even more so than some family relatives, because you know as much as you might see your best friend like, or at least speak to them pretty much every single day
yeah,
for, you know, donkey's years.
yeah,
Whereas you might see your brother or your mum once a week, kind of thing. They are
yeah,
really special relationships which keep you going. And so yeah, I mean, but losing someone like that is, it can make be a huge thing in people's
mm,
lives. And
yeah,
yeah, it's just tailoring those memories and putting them in a place where, you know, it's not on just an order of service where you might get it out every, you know, every on
yeah,
one
that's right.
10 years
Yeah,
kind of thing. It's something that is on your phone,
more
and
accessible,
more
probably.
accessible whenever you're feeling it. And it's not all doom and gloom. You know, so as part of the song journey, so you can, there's a selection where it says atmosphere of song, so it can be happy, it can be fun,
Mm,
it can be reflective, somber, uplifting, anything you like, and the artists will tailor it to, you know, to that atmosphere. Because everyone's different, everyone has different
mm,
experiences, funerals. I've seen videos of funerals where they're dancing down the aisles
mm,
and raving, and people like that could have a funny one or a happy one, uplifting
mm.
song. So it's, yeah, we can do absolutely anything for that, and yeah, it's just so much fun being part of it.
And what do you think, Colin, what do you think, what do you hope these songs might offer to future generations who might listen to them like years from now?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about this the other day actually, because my granddad meant so much to me. I have a 6-year-old boy, Joey, who's obviously never met him before. He doesn't. He only knows from his song and from when I talk to him about him briefly, when I can grab his attention when he's not playing Hot Wheels. Um,
Lots of people will be going, oh, yeah, I know that
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah. When I can prise his iPad off him, but yeah. So these songs, it's way of just giving them information and telling, you know, telling the story of his great granddad, because what my granddad did was like very, not blowing his own trumpet, but it's pretty unique. He was, his mum was in a poorhouse.
Mm,
He literally couldn't afford to feed the kids. He was separated from his brothers. They all went to separate orphanages. He'd work, you know, 14 hours a day, every day. He went through several tragedies as well. And I knew this because he actually wrote a book, his biography into a book, and then
mm,
going through there, and then he got obviously called up to the war when he was a teenager,
mm,
and just an absolute incredible life, and it kind of makes you realize how lucky we are. Uh,
mm,
so it's getting as much story that to my son who never met him, but I can tell him that, he can listen to that, he can learn about it, and you know, it's that's what's special to me, and that's what people can do for their kids, their grandkids,
Yeah.
and just kind of tell them about the relatives or the friends who were no longer with us but did some pretty incredible things, and how many good people there are out there or were out there. So yeah, it's just another way of doing that.
Mm. And what about yourself then? So when you get to that moment, when you have a personalized song created about your own life, many moons from now, what what themes or things do you want people to remember to include, Colin?
Oh wow, that's putting me on the spot. Oh gosh.
You're
I'm a
still
try.
working it out.
Yeah. I guess I want my family to know that I'm a trier. I will try, and I want because I want my son to be the same. You know, never
Yeah.
give up, keep trying for everything. And just I guess about my life. I mean, I'm a huge fan of metal music, believe it or not, which is
Yeah.
quite far from my roster at our song request. But so for instance, I'm going to a gig tonight, so I love going to metal gigs with my wife. I just amazing wife, Ashley, amazing son, amazing family. Been extremely lucky with my family and friends, and I guess just
Who's your favorite metal band then?
so Slipknot changed my life completely.
Ah,
When I saw them and heard them, a little bit like how music does with dementia, it did something inside my brain, and since
great.
then, it completely changed my life. And it's the same for my wife Ashley. She's a huge metal fan, so we go and that's kind of the start of it. We go very, very, very heavy.
That's good though. It's good though, isn't it, to get things to connect to? And I think you get on quite well with the funeral director, Si, who does the podcast, because he's got a love of this kind of genre as well.
Ah,
So, I think
oh,
you'd bob
amazing.
along quite nicely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well, enjoy that tonight, Colin. That sounds a good way to spend your
Thank you very
time.
much. Yeah, it's Machine Head,
Um,
if anyone wants to know.
yeah. So just as a kind of final question, unless there's anything else you want to say, what do you hope listeners take away from this idea of honouring someone through music?
Just that it's available. There's no pressure, but if people are struggling, or even if not struggling, if you just want to remember a loved one, or if you know someone who might want to remember a loved one, all their all the lovely things that we were, that we are, that we did, um, just that we can do something really, really special with those details. And you kind of have to, the proof, I always say the proof's in the pudding, because it's great me telling you, what we do. And I feel like, in fact, that brings me on to something else, which I completely forgot to mention. So our artists, we got them to write and record over 100 pre-recorded songs called tribute songs. So what you can actually do on our website is these are completely free. So you can upload a photo of your loved one, and then there's 4 sets of questions which get asked, which are: what are your favorite memories of your loved one? What was their personality like? What have you appreciated the most about them? And the final one is: what did they teach you? And we give you several options, and to each option of these 4 questions, we have a pre-recorded song which our artists have recorded for it. So what I would love people to be able to just know what's available is to receive a free song, and just kind of experience it for themselves. And then what we can do with the personalized songs is, if you like the feeling of it, we can turn it completely unique. So all the details of the loved one, every single specific memory, so it's 100% tailored. This is kind of like a gateway to show people what we do. And also
Yeah.
we appreciate that not everyone's got a budget, so we don't let anyone walk away where they can't receive free music about their loved one. So we are completely available for everyone and anyone. So it's completely free. You get a personalized song page just like you would on a fully personalized song. And and also what we do as well, because we're so strong on real artists in this day and age of AI, you can get artificial intelligence songs, which don't get me started on those. But so what we do with our artists, we've asked them, so they've recorded themselves, we introduced the song in a video. We've got recording footage of them actually recording your song, so we send them that as well. So we show you the artist behind the music.
Yeah. What a lovely personal bit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so because a lot of work goes into what we do, and it's just good to kind of, because we connect to the artists with the guests as well, and they always love to hear the feedback. So I give the feedback to them.
Yeah,
so,
just imagine it's really rewarding. It reminds me a bit about that way that you've described, that you can listen to a song and you can get that particular bits tailored to you, instead of the starting from scratch kind of method. Reminds me of Elton John's song that was, he changed Candle in the Wind, didn't he? Some of the lyrics. That it was for Princess Diane, for anyone who remembers that time, and personalized it for her memorial. So that kind of idea, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
So it's time to say goodbye, but Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I hope people find their way to everything you're doing. It sounds really fantastic. We will put for our listeners, we'll put all of these details in the show notes for you, so you'll have links to Colin's website and a few kind of videos you can watch that are samples and examples. So
thank you so much, Tina. It's been lovely speaking to you too.
Absolute pleasure. You've been listening to Good Goodbyes with me
and Colin Boston from our song request.
Thanks for listening to Good Goodbyes. We hope you found it helpful and informative. Please do leave us feedback, other topic suggestions, and subscribe for a regular listen and like and share if it all helps the show.
We're always interested to know what topics you like us to talk about, so do reach out to us if you have any ideas. If any topic leaves you thinking you need additional help or support, please do seek out professional advice. Take care and be kind to one another.